Hi everyone, it's Kute here giving you a shout out wherever you are around the world. Today I wanted to make a quick video about how do you deal with temptation. Temptation, you know, we're all tempted by cookies, you know, those chocolate chip cookies that you just can't resist, that it's just like just one more chocolate chip cookies, or you know, one more nacho chips, or alcohol, or whatever the drug of choice or the temptation is. If you're in a human body, you at some point in your life will face temptation. Money, food, sex, drugs, alcohol, work, you know, stress, whatever it is. What's your temptation that you face in your life that often, or more often than not, inhibits and limits your freedom? What is it for you? If you were to be truly honest right now, what is it for you? Your willingness to be honest and take all the judgment off of what you should be doing and shouldn't be doing and how you should conduct yourself, and take all the judgment off and simply acknowledge, this is my temptation. I believe that we all come into this world, this life, with our own imprint, with our own unique soul's curriculum. And as a result, often as part of that curriculum, we have encoded, but perhaps karmically, into our cells, into our DNA, we have encoded our own imprint of the certain things we will have to overcome in this life. Part of that often appears in the form of temptation. So what's your temptation? Another way of me asking that is, what's your weak spot that often gets you? Is it sugar? What's your weak spot that often gets you? Is it sex? What's your weak spot that often gets you and often manifests in the form of an addiction? I believe that when you are on a conscious path, when you are on a path of elevating your consciousness and awareness and rising to higher dimensions, there comes a point where you realize that certain things, it's not even a moral thing, it's not even a judgment thing, just certain things no longer resonate with the vibrational frequency of where you are seeking to rise. You are seeking to rise to this level. You are seeking to create this level of success. You are seeking to attain this and experience this kind of relationship. You are seeking to create more abundance, more wealth, more money, take your career to the next level. Yet, perhaps you might find you are doing certain things that are vibrating around here. You are doing certain habits, addictions, patterns, indulgences that are often vibrating at this level, that there's a gap. What I've seen is, the more you indulge those things, those lesser addictions, those lesser temptations, those are often the very frequencies, the very energies, the very patterns that actually inhibit you from raising yourself to the level of consciousness necessary to go to that next level of success in that area of your life. There reaches a point where you no longer have a choice, that it's not about anyone else or doing it for anyone else other than what you've been doing is no longer in alignment with who you are today and who you're seeking to become and where you are going in your future. That you will have to let go of the lower to say yes to the higher. You will have to let go of the lower to rise to the higher. So what has kept you stuck up until now? What has kept you stuck until now? I found that when you are seeking to go to that next level, you must make a commitment, you must make a conscious choice to let go of those things that have tempted you before. Money, food. So have you noticed that when you make a commitment, like I'm going to follow this path in my life, with my life purpose, then often, as you're rising to that next level and transcending, often all of those temptations will creep up and just come and just try and track you down and hold on to you like a parasite for dear life. Will try and hold on to you and it's trying to keep you down to that comfort zone that you've been operating inside of. It's a test. It's a test of your own consciousness that causes you to let go, causes you to dig into a deeper dimension of your own strength, of your own knowledge, of your own knowing, of your own integrity, and say no. Often we think when we say no to that addiction, that pattern, that indulgence, that thing we've been so comfortably hooked in, we often justify and make excuses. Well, it's not so bad. It's not screwing up my life too much. I'm not really addicted to it. It's not harming anyone. I just smoke a little bit here and there. It's no big deal. But when we stop BSing ourselves, we know deep down there is a misalignment in our consciousness. You can't rise to that next level with that misalignment in your consciousness, because in your body, in your nervous system, in your conscious and unconscious mind, all parts of you know that you are not in alignment. You are out of integrity. To create you, it must be in alignment. So just know that when you say no to the cookie, whatever your cookie is, we all have a cookie, a chocolate chip cookie. You can translate whenever you say no to the cookie. It could be alcohol, it could be wine, it could be vodka, it could be sex, it could be, you know, marijuana, it could be whatever it might be. Partying, it doesn't even matter what it is. What it is isn't even so important, but it's your relationship with it. I'm not saying do it or don't do it. I'm not judging any of it. But when you realize that, wow, this thing has me. It has me. It might be good, but it actually has me. You know, I'm not free from it. Then you realize, if you're honest, that you are a slave. And when you are a slave to that thing, when you are a slave to that pattern, when you are a slave to that addiction, when you are a slave to whatever it might be, the cookie might be for you, then you are not free to truly choose consciously. You are being run by a program. You are being run by your biology. You are being run by your hormones. You are being run by your mind. And have you noticed that whenever you indulge that temptation, whenever you indulge that addiction, have you noticed that you go down that road and somehow your mind tells you, this time it's going to be different having that cookie. This time if I do it, it won't harm if I can do it this one more time. I'll just do it one more time and see. It's BS. Do not indulge the temptation of your mind, because if you notice, like a mouse going down a maze looking for cheese, but there's no cheese there. And how many times do we have to go down that maze to realize there's no cheese down that road? There is no cheese down that road, because often what we're truly seeking, we're often seeking a deeper connection with the infinite through the finite. We cannot truly connect to the infinite through the finite, because the finite has its limitations. We must go direct to the source of bliss, the source of love, the source of light, the source of pure consciousness. So just know that when you say no to the cookie of your life, the temptation, when you say no, sometimes the ego can experience it as a limitation. Oh my God, this is limitation. And have you noticed that when you experience limitation, there can be a sense of internal conflict, right? There's a sense of internal conflict, internal resistance inside. A part of you starts to rebel against yourself. There's an internal moment of conflict that happens. But just know that when you say no, it's actually not a limitation. You saying no to that addiction, that temptation, is actually you freeing yourself from being run and controlled by that, being a slave to that cookie, to that thing in your life. It's actually you saying yes to something higher. When you say no to the lower, you say yes to something higher. You actually then begin taking your power back each time you say no. It's a real level of you on a soul level saying yes to something way more. Each time you do that, you reclaim a piece of your power. You bring yourself each time back into alignment. You access and generate more and more power inside of you to make conscious and aligned choices in your life. The temptations are not bad. They are just your soul's opportunities. Your opportunities to transcend. Your opportunities to transcend to that next level and step into a higher version and expression of yourself. So when you see that cookie, And the temptation sneaks back into your life and says, I know you're going to the next level. I know you're trying to lose weight, get off sugar, you know, you're not just like date and have sex with random people, drink alcohol like crazy or do the drugs. I know whatever, that temptation will come and it will sneak up upon you. And it will do the same thing. The voice will do the same thing that it always does. That is your opportunity to look that aspect of you in the eyes with compassion and say, no, I am in dominion. My soul runs this show. My soul is the gold, and I will no longer be fooled by the lesser gold that I have been buying into, now thinking that this is real gold when it's just fake gold. Because what we're truly seeking is the divine. What we're truly seeking is the infinite, not just wine, but the divine, something much higher, which is found at the depth of your being. The depth of your being. So as the urge, if you feel a temptation arise, oh, I'm having a craving, I'm having a temptation. If you feel that urge arise, we often collapse into it and indulge it. And if you realize when you indulge it, we often feel terrible afterwards, like, oh, it's followed by a moment of, you know, quick pleasure, then shame and blame and guilt, which creates more of a negative spiral, which then often creates a cycle where we indulge it again to try and get out of that, and it just spirals and spirals. So when a craving or temptation arises and you feel it rising, you'll often see it feels so real physiologically. Have you noticed that? It feels real. If you're willing to embrace the sensation, embrace the urge, not judge it like I shouldn't be feeling this, and embrace it completely, and not indulge it, not reach for the cookie jar, not indulge that temptation, whatever it is, if you're willing to breathe, scan your body, relax your body, and you will see and find that that urge will arise, it will arise, it will arise, and at this point where you typically indulge it, you just take a step back and observe and breathe. You'll often find that that urge often then begins to subside. That urge will not last forever, and it is not as real as your mind, as your body, as the temptation will often have you try to be convinced of and believe. Just know this, that there is a power inside of you. It's not about saying no. It's not about limiting yourself. It's about you stepping into a higher frequency, and it's about you stepping into the highest level of your own freedom for yourself. Then you can live life, be in life, and be truly free. It's about saying yes to your freedom. Say yes to your freedom today. Say yes to your freedom today. Love now.